is about that girl that went missing when she was on a spring break. The Indian girl named Sudiksha Konanki. She was a pre-med student from Pennsylvania University of Pittsburgh, and she was in Dominican Republic for spring break, but she went missing after she was last seen near the beach. Now let's read the article, which is titled Person of Interest in Sudiksha Konanki's Disappearance Detained under irregular conditions, his family says. This was published on March 15, 2025, and it says the parents of Joshua Ribe, R-I-I-B-E, the American tourist who was named a person of interest in the Dominican Republic disappearance of University of Pittsburgh student Sudiksha Konanki, said their son had been detained under irregular conditions. So there was this video of Sudiksha and this man kind of hand in hand holding each other, walking on the beach. And this man, R-I-I-B-E, he is 22 and he hasn't been accused or charged with a crime, but was recently named a person of interest in the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office in Virginia after Konanki, 20, was last seen at a beach at the Rio Republica Resort in Punta Cana, March 6. So she was studying in Pennsylvania, but she lived in Virginia, and that's why they are involved. The man's parents have since released a statement shared by News Whatever, expressing their deep sorrow and solidarity with Konanki's family, as they explained that their son had fully cooperated in the search and clarification of the facts from the very beginning. So this man, I think he might have been on a spring break too, right? They are both American, went there for spring break, and they seemed very drunk. Detailing their concern, the family of the man, related to his questioning, the parents continued, despite his full willingness to cooperate. Josh has been detained under irregular conditions and subjected to extensive questioning without the presence of official translators or legal counsel until March 12. I mean, come on. Your son is seen with a woman who has gone missing. Don't they understand the severity of the situation? I mean, his rights aren't being taken away. They are holding him under very understandable circumstances to ask him questions about where he thinks this woman who is now missing is. The parents continued, he has remained in his hotel room under police surveillance and has been repeatedly taken to the police station since March 6, where he has been interrogated for long hours. This situation has raised serious concern with his family, which has led us to retain legal counsel to initiate legal actions ensuring his safety and the protection of his rights throughout this process. I'm sorry, but this man already sounds like a brat. 'Cause even if he didn't do anything, he was walking with this very drunk woman near the beach, and apparently he said himself that they almost got drowned because a wave came to the beach and hit us, and then it took them to the sea. And he said that he managed to take both of them out, and then just the girl vanished and she went back to his room and he slept it off. Now, does that sound normal to you? And what are these parents saying? Should he not be questioned? How is that a right? I mean, you're seen on CCTV hand in hand with a missing girl. Of course you're gonna be interrogated for long hours because everybody wants to know what happened to their daughter. Their son, Joshua, is a student at St. Cloud State University in Minnesota. His parents, identified as Albert and Tina, RIIBE. Konanki was part of a group of 6 female students traveling for spring break this month. That's interesting. You hear a lot of stories that happen on spring breaks in America. I wonder if the same thing goes on in Europe. If any of you are from Europe, let me know if you have spring break, and if everyone goes crazy on it. A source close to the investigation said her clothes were discovered on a lounge on the beach, and it was reported by a Dominican news outlet, El Nacional, that no signs of foul play were detected. So his only crime, Joshua, might be that he might have saw, or he might have speculated that this woman that he had known maybe only for a few hours has drowned, and he didn't call anyone about it, and he just went back to his bed and just slept. Even if he was really drunk, that's not really normal behavior, and I don't think they're gonna just let him get away with it if he neglected to report a person being drowned. Joshua remained in custody as of March 13, when a source told people that he was still at the hotel he was holidaying in and remains at the disposal of the Dominican and U.S. authorities for further clarifications. That same day, the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office told people that Joshua is not a suspect and is still considered a person of interest to the office, as he may have been the last one to see her. Yeah, so of course they're gonna keep a close eye on him, and they're gonna keep him there while they are figuring out what happened to her. A prosecutor's office source previously claimed that Joshua's story changed over the course of 4 interrogations. He maintains he first met Konanki at the hotel where they stayed and had been partying together with friends. A police source told people that we are keeping all avenues of investigation open, but at this time we have no concrete elements that could lead us to believe that foul play was involved. According to a source close to the investigation, Konanki and 7 others left their hotel for a beach walk around 4:15 a.m. local time on March 6 after having drinks. Later, 6 of the 8 could be seen returning in security camera footage shot at around 5:55 a.m. Investigators determined that Joshua returned to the hotel around 9 a.m. Konanki's friends later reported her missing to hotel staff at 4 p.m. that day. How scary might have been for these girls. They probably thought maybe he was gonna come in later, she was gonna come in later, maybe she's just out there, having fun with this new guy that she met. So they didn't worry immediately. They probably went back around 6 a.m. as the article says, and they fell asleep. They were tired and they were drunk, and they wake up at 9 a.m. They wake up later during the day and see that their friend has not come back. There's no sign of her. Following her disappearance, Dominican National Police said an exhaustive search was launched by sea, air, and land. According to ABC News, which cites 2 Dominican Republic sources who provided a transcript of his conversations with a prosecutor, Joshua claimed he met Konanki that night and that they kissed. He added that they were hit by a big wave that pulled them into the ocean before he swam to get her out of the water. He claimed he thought she had taken her things and left. What? Imagine you just almost got drowned with another person and you turn around and they're gone, and you immediately think, oh, they just must have gone to bed. You just almost got drowned. What do you mean? Joshua's family later said in their statement that their son is deeply dismayed by Konanki's disappearance and has fully cooperated in the search and clarification of the facts from the very beginning. The Konanki family previously told USA Today that they are going through an incredibly difficult time and are deeply saddened. We kindly request privacy as we cope with the challenging moment together, they said. In a prior news release, the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office said that there has been considerable public speculation about what may have happened to Konanki and who may may be involved. We caution anyone from drawing any unsubstantiated conclusions, and we are committed to ensuring that a thorough investigation is conducted before any conclusions are reached. They are hopeful for the safe return of Sudiksha Konanki, and we are committed to supporting this investigation and her family in every way possible. And that is how the article is ended. What a truly tragic story. Do you guys think it is even 1% possible that Sudiksha is still out there alive? Because she left her clothes there. And the last person who saw her said that she almost drowned and that she vanished afterwards, even if it didn't have anything to do with her death. I think it is most probably that she drowned. I don't know what Joshua had to do with it, and I'm sure we will soon learn more about this case, because they either have to let him go or find evidence against him to further this investigation, and I will keep you updated on that. Let's get into the next article that I have for tonight, which is another update about the Idaho 4 case. The case against Brian Koberger for the murder of 4 University of Idaho students. Now, the 911 call was released, and it is heartbreaking, and I recommend that you don't listen to it. I have, and it will be transcribed in this article that we will be reading together. Now, a lot of people since the beginning of this case have been very critical of the roommate Dylan Mortensen, who was in the same floor as 2 of the victims the night that it happened. Because just like the other case I just talked about, all these girls were drunk. They had a long night, and when she heard her friends make noises, she just chalked it up to them being loud, even though it was 4 a.m. and nothing happened. And she said that she saw a man leaving, and she heard some stuff but didn't call 911, neither did she open the bedroom door of her friends, and she called 911 at 11 p.m. And unfortunately, when the police came, 4 of the people who were in the house were murdered. Now we will read about the 911 call. This article is from Fox News, entitled Brian Koberger Case 911 Audio Released in Idaho Student Murders. It was published on March 14, 2025. Authorities have released the recording of the 911 call placed after the stabbings of 4 University of Idaho students in November 2022. Prior public records requests had been denied due to a gag order on the case, but after a transcript became public last week, authorities said they no longer considered it exempt from disclosure. The call was placed to authorities at 11:55 a.m. on November 13, 2022, several hours after Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan were allegedly killed at the hands of Brian Kohlberger. Then a 28-year-old criminology PhD student at the neighboring Washington State University, just 10 miles away. In the frantic call, which appears to have been placed by someone who did not live with the victims, a female caller can be heard sobbing, reporting that something is happening inside the home at 1122 King Road in Moscow. According to court documents, one of Ethan's friends uncovered the gruesome scene and instructed others to call 911. Several people spoke to the dispatcher. Police arrived in less than 5 minutes. One of the roommates is passed out as she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up, the caller says to the dispatcher. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night, and this is a voice of a male saying this, while someone, assuming Dylan Mortensen, is sobbing in the background. And she says some stuff, but it's not really making any sense. When the 911 dispatcher asked for the phone number from which the woman was calling, she can be heard asking another person, "What's your phone number?" The phone number is redacted from the audio recording, obviously, and the woman pauses to speak with several others in the background throughout the call, prompting the 911 dispatcher to ask her to stop passing the phone around. Another thing about this phone call is the way the dispatcher talks. They are instructed to be neutral and to keep their cool and be kind of nonchalant to help people deal with emergencies. But in this case, she's kind of annoyed with everyone, and the only thing she keeps saying is that, "Can you stop passing the phone around? Can you please stop passing the phone around?" I don't know what else she could have done, but it doesn't sound really nice. The article continues on March 6 of this year. Fox News was first to reveal unsealed court documents containing text messages from the 2 roommates who survived the slaying. The batch also contains a written transcript of the 911 call. The roommates are identified in filings only as DM and BF. BF, Bethany Funk. Everyone knows these names, but they redact them because police ruled them out, and there's no way that they had anything to do with the case. But still, doesn't stop people from speculating. Kohlberger has been accused of entering the home at about 4 a.m. on the day of the killings, committing the murders and leaving the home by 4:17. So he killed 4 people on 2 different floors in 17 minutes. I don't know how, but when they found Xana, they thought that she was unconscious because she was drunk last night and something might have happened to her. That's what they said to 911. But she was stabbed and that was the cause of death. It's interesting that there was no blood, none that they could see, and they said that most of the bleeding must have been internal and that she didn't have any, slashings to her arteries, and that's why they thought that their friend was just unconscious or passed out from something related to some sort of drugs. Between 4:22 to 4:24, DM and BF were awake inside the home and texting each other, discussing the possibility of a masked intruder. DM has previously been identified as the only eyewitness who saw the intruder, describing him as a masked man with bushy eyebrows. Koberger was allegedly identified through DNA from a knife sheath left behind at the scene under Madison's body. He was dragged down in Pennsylvania on December 30th of the same year, where state police there arrested him at his parents' house. After Koberger's failed challenge to the methods the FBI used to match DNA evidence in the case, prosecutors suggested that he plans to argue his DNA sample was planted and that he was framed. A judge entered not guilty pleas to all charges on his behalf because he stood silent in May 2023. His trial is scheduled to begin on August 11, 2025, and prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty if he is convicted. The article ends by saying his defense intends to use mental health records to try and avoid the death penalty. Yeah, they were gonna say that he might be on the spectrum and that's why he shouldn't get the death penalty. I don't understand how that works. I mean, everyone who commits a crime so heinous definitely has something wrong with their brain. But I don't think that being on any sort of a spectrum is going to make you homicidal, or if that should get you off from facing the just consequences of your action. I don't think so. What do you think? Next and last article for tonight, which is truly a shocking one that I'm sure I will be ranting about for a while, is about a poor man who has been in captivity of his most evil stepmom for God knows how many years. 20 years. I might say, oh, he's a grown-up. Why didn't he run away? Because he couldn't. This story is just horrifying. So let's read it. It's from AP News, titled Man Describes Cruelty During His 2 Decades of Captivity at his family home in Connecticut. It was published on March 13, 2025. A man rescued from a burning home as he was held captive in a single room for 20 years by his father and stepmother. The man told authorities his confinement began when he was about 11 years old. He said he was locked in a room without heat or air conditioning nearly all day and night and given limited food and water. With no access to a bathroom, he devised ways to dispose of his own waste, including using a series of straws that led to a hole in a window. Oh my God. Pieces of his teeth would break off when he did eat because of a lack of dental care, and I suppose lack of any nutrition. He saved some of his daily ration of 2 small water bottles to bathe without soap and cut his own hair. Oh my God. The years of cruelty ended on February 17, when he set fire to the house in Waterbury in a deliberate effort to save himself, and told his story to responding police and firefighters. According to the arrest warrant charging his stepmother with kidnapping, cruelty to persons and other crimes. For 20 years, why did they even bother to be such a villain for that many years? Did they just enjoy making their poor son suffer? Police are now trying to determine how this could have happened without anyone noticing, and whether any warning signs were missed. Investigators want to look at records from city schools and state child welfare agency and all the police and stuff. The man, now 32, is identified as male victim 1 in police records. The stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, 56, posted $300,000 bail Thursday and was released from custody after appearing in Waterbury Superior Court, said her lawyer. Now, she's out right now. She might be listening to this, which the odds are very low, but you're one evil woman. He said Sullivan, who was arrested on Wednesday, denies any wrongdoing. Her next court date is March 26. Her lawyer said, "I would encourage people not to rush to judgment. This woman is presumed innocent." The man's father died last year, while his biological mother has not been a part of his life. He and Sullivan lived in the home that he set on fire. Medical personnel said the man was near starvation and had wasting syndrome, a condition of weight loss and muscle deterioration. When he got to a hospital, the warrant says he was 175 meters tall and he weighed 31 69 pounds at 5'9". That is so messed up. He was treated for smoke inhalation and diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. They said the man faces a long road of physical and mental treatment. He said police are supporting him, including taking up a collection to buy him food and clothes. The man told police that he was constantly hungry. When he was in school, he would ask classmates for food, steal food, and eat out of the garbage. In later years, when he was out of school and confined to the house, he would get 2 sandwiches a day and some water while locked in his room. It's interesting that they let him go to school. Maybe they thought they had to, or they would come and get him. But why did they want to have him when they only kept him in the room? I'm not supposed to understand this. The police's only interactions with the family were in 2005. One was a welfare check after children who attended school with him. He was pulled out, expressed concern about him. Oh, poor children, can you imagine? At 2005. The second and final time was after the family made a harassment complaint against school officials for reporting them to state child welfare officials. Officers who went to the home said that they spoke to the man, then a child, and reported there was no cause for concern. Officials with the State Department of Children and Families, which investigates child abuse, said Thursday that they have not found any records of agency involvement with the family, but were continuing to look. They added that reports of neglect or abuse deemed unsubstantiated, and they are erased after 5 years. And they were erased because they were found. They just assumed that nothing was wrong with talking to the family for a couple of minutes. And how did they not realize that when the child was, that thin? Maybe he wasn't that thin in school because he still had opportunities to find more food. They said, "We are shocked and saddened for the victim and at the unspeakable conditions he endured. The now adult victim has shown incredible strength and resilience during this time of healing, and our hearts go out to him." When the man attended a Waterbury elementary school as a child, staff saw that he was extremely small and thin, and made multiple calls to the Stepmother and the Department of Child and Families. A former principal at the school named Tom Pannone told News that police did not have that information when they responded to the man's house in 2005. What was that last sentence. A former principal at the school told that the police said Waterbury school officials did not immediately answer. Alright, so the school says that they called people for this, but those people are saying that they received no call, so people are just blaming each other, which is disgusting. It happened. No matter how it was overlooked, it is going to get overlooked again with other children. What's mind-boggling is how it continued for 20 years. How did he endure it for all these years before doing something? I mean, I'm not blaming him, but it's just horrible. I hope this woman gets what she deserves. And I don't know any other way this man would have ended up in that situation if what he's saying is not correct. Alright, you guys, that is the end of that case, at least for tonight, and all the time that I have for this video. I hope this far into it you're already asleep and that you're very lucid and you can decide what you're seeing, and it is all peaceful and lovely. If you're still awake, check out my other videos. Thank you for watching.